Alright, so while I was sitting here after releasing my first piece of trash thinking change was going to happen overnight, or maybe change does happen, I don't know at this point, I realised I had to start making another video. So I know we're coming closer to the end of the month and I honestly haven't been watching much seasonal anime yet, but I will. And I also know it's far from New Year's at this point, but I would like to still actually talk about what I know 2020 is going to offer when it comes to continuing anime, and I'll base these off of my semi-normie weeblet tastes and what I've seen. I'll pretty much state if I'm looking forward to them and why the impression of their past episodes has made me want to carry on watching more. And yeah. Alright, starting with continuations, ReZero Season 2. At the moment, ReZero is one of my favourites to come from the isekai genre, and that's saying something because I have a select few from the genre that I actually like. I really enjoyed the first season that I actually watched not too long ago. It has elements of a premise that I've seen elsewhere and thought they were mediocre at best, but what had me hooked on ReZero was the good use of a concept that could easily go to shit. Spoiler warning. So basically when he dies, Subaru has the ability to reset to a certain checkpoint in this, well, isekai. Depending on what he does, the checkpoint can change, and what I love about the use of this in ReZero is that Subaru is not reliant on it most of the time. If anything, throughout the show, Subaru has found it to be a big curse, bringing to the surface his struggle and his trauma and how he deals with the traps following every reset. Through this, his character can and has been shaped and reshaped because of it. And for me personally, there was nothing but cold sweats in that arc with what's-his-face from the witch cult, and Rem getting twisted was just, well, yeah. And I found the shock value to be well done, unlike some anime whereas ReZero likes to at least keep a story consistent while keeping that edge to it. Is it a perfect show? No, but I did find it entertaining and I actually am pretty excited for Season 2, and what I hope for in Season 2 is more on the witch herself and more on what brought Subaru to this world and why it's keeping him there. Amelia is shit. The Demon Slayer Infinity Train arc. So I'm kinda meh about this arc being portrayed in just a film, because the anime was frickin' flames and I'm sure it spoke for itself. When Ninja didn't during its airing, whether it was the action, drama, comedy or I've avoided the manga for the very reason of enjoying the anime, so I will check this out. And I'm excited to see more from the other pillars too, because what we got so far was from Gyu and Shinobu, and thanks to some manga readers, I kind of know what happens next. But overall, I'm still excited to see more from these pillars and their development, as well as the two pillars that we've already seen a lot from. And also from the lovable trio, and of course... No, not even I saw this coming. Being the lonely and single weeb that I am, it's only natural that I would find myself enjoying the heartthrob from romance and or harem anime, or in this case from Miku and the Walmart Mikus. I'm actually up to date with the manga, which has come so far in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to seeing that development in the upcoming season 2 of the anime. What I like about what it's done is its development. What I would like to think is harem gold is when the protagonist actually has reasons for having multiple love interests and is the reason why they're in love with them to start with, instead of "He's so cute! He's just so cute!" Nanto. Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul. I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought Made in Abyss Season 1 was amazing. From world building to story to characters, this show had a lot going for it. Spoiler warning. Having everything that Riko and Reg went through, I mean especially Reg who had to break Riko's... having Nanachi who was introduced in the second half, and having Mitty who's, well, that, still adorable. Again, shown why later in the series' second half. You can admit that they'd done a really good job at making these characters likable and making you empathetic with them in the short amount of time that it was shown, giving off a mood that could even put men to tears. Part of what makes this anime good is that it's an anime so innocent but yet so mature because of the world they're in. I have yet to watch the movies that have already been released, and I will definitely watch them before going into this movie. From what I heard, this has or is about to be released in Japan, and I hope it makes its way to cinemas in my country.
その余裕たっぷりの面が気に食わねえんだよ
Alright, so Megalo Box Season 2 was confirmed, and at first I wasn't quite sure how to feel about it. I thought Megalo Box Season 1 was a really good underdog story and thought that it would be good to just leave it at that. You know that post-credit scene from Finding Nemo where the fish finally get out of the dentist into the sea and then they're just like...
Now what?
It's kind of like what it feels to hear about a Megalo Box Season 2. Spoiler warning. So Joe and Yuri fought it out to the end, and we can all assume that Joe won and why the champion's vacant.
先のことはわからねえけど、今はそのことを誰かに伝えてんだよ。
So,
now what?
But after hearing about a time skip and that Sachio might even be fighting with Joe as his coach, or even Yuri as his coach as Joe continues to fight, my hype was somewhat restored. We were never given a backstory on Joe, but we were given quite a bit on Sachio, who he is, what he lost, and this can be put into what he has to fight for. And if this is the narrative that they are going to roll with, we better see a gearless Sachio, because one of the biggest elements that went into this underdog story was that Joe was gearless and fought against geared people. I think no matter how it turns out now, I'm still going to watch it because it sparks my interest now and I'm curious to see how it goes. It is said to be released in late 2020 or early 2021.
言わなければわからない。言ったとしても伝わらない。だから、その答えを口にするべきだ。その選択をきっと悔やむと知っていても。
Oregairu Season 3. I love this show, and I want to rewatch it just so I can do a video and add it to the analysis conversation about why this anime happens to feel so real to a person like myself. Hachiman is one of the most relatable characters, someone who has become cynical when it comes to social society due to how he was socially treated in his past. I'd love to go further in depth about this anime, but it'll get depressing, so I will save it for another video that I hope will be in the near future. But to those who have seen it, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, I do love this show, and I'm excited for Season 3.
マキ、二人の相手をしてやれ。
え、私ですか？
お前以外マキという名の隊員がいたか？
Say what you will, but FireForce is good and I think was a great new addition to play amongst the anime during the season it did, especially being a shonen anime itself, because a show like this could cater to not yet anime fans the same way something like Dragon Ball Z did when I was younger and could make a great gateway anime for some. Its first core in my opinion was going slow, but by the time it concluded I was sold on the story, and the second core had me absolutely invested. Its characters, its mystery hybrid, its unique animation, and best skills Maki and Iris. And honestly, I believe these could cater to any weeb or normie. I think it already has begun to be that of what weebs call a normie anime, but has and will also continue to prove why its popularity is high in both anime and manga through its following chapters and episodes. So, there are a lot of more hype shows I would like to get into, but to conclude this... Oh!
なんだって？キャンパス。
Alright, this here needs its own video too, because I don't care if this show is viewed as a cute girls doing cute things anime, but just somehow I can sense a bit of maturity in it, like feeling nostalgic about things in my own life even though what I'm viewing on screen is completely irrelevant to how I spent my own childhood. And somehow, someway, it has brought me to the understanding that this anime has a seinen subgenre to it. I've seen similar anime where it looks like it should have been made for like little girls, but yet somehow gives an outlook on reality that the mature audience can relate to and understand. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, but you start to care about a friendship between kids that live in the country. These are cute anime girls. How? I'm sure if I had time to actually think about it and write down why exactly this can hit the demographic of young adults, I'm sure I'll be able to actually tell you just how and why they do that. I have about 6 episodes to go watching this anime, and I have been saving it for the reasons of wanting to actually savor the vibe this show has been displaying this whole time, and now that season 3 is announced, I have no shame in saying that this is one I'm looking forward to. According to my anime list, this has no confirmed airing date, but I'm going to put my money on that it comes out this year. I recommend Non Biyori, not just for the kids, but adults, also watch it with them. It may not be your cup of tea, but there are things in there that are supposed to cater to you guys. So, there are a lot more hype animes continuing that I haven't listed because I'm already watching, haven't listed because this video does need to end at some point, or I haven't and just need to see it because I'm still uncultured. Or because it's shit. So this isn't a top 10 list or anything, but there is one anime that I am hyped for the most, and I'm pretty sure everyone already knows what it is, so I'll just give it the most normal introduction. Let's be honest, who was not expecting this? Just in case you've been living under a rock, Attack on Titan concludes this year with its 4th and final season installment. Season 3, both parts were a mix of emotion, reveal, and more. To avoid a lot of spoilers for those that have yet to either watch or catch up, I'll just say that a lot has been brought into light, and whatever confusion you have now will either make a lot more sense, or mind cuck you even more depending on how you interpret it, or your level of IQ, but no one's judging. But need I say more about just how much this anime excels, not just at writing, but animation, voice acting, and its music. There's enough from the show to have you on the edge of your seat, and there's enough drama to as where if you're more simple-minded like me. Oh my god! After opening my eyes to more anime, Attack on Titan is one to push anime elements, and elements you won't find in anime at all. They would take tropes from both sides and wrap it into something that you would watch and not even be aware that you're actually watching an anime. And this is what I believe Attack on Titan has done to create a milestone for anime as a medium when it comes to attracting new people. So the video's done, and if you have somehow made it this far, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, and if you are somehow new here, please subscribe and like if you're interested. I am now on the receiving end of what it's like to actually commit to making these things, and I will keep trying my best to be as consistent with this as I can. But right now, I'll relax before getting back into it, and yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one, and hopefully you find yourself watching the next one. Later.